Okay, the next section we're going to dive into is the filter. I have it set currently to the sawtooth wave and the oscillator. Not very exciting, but it's a great waveform for filter usage. I'm just kidding. They're probably all great. Triangle probably less so, but who knows with the metalizer. It could be super awesome with the metalizer. We're going to find out. Okay, who's had time to mess around with the MiniBrute? Anyone? No. No one has. I'm messing around with it right now. It's right here. I have the MiniBrute. Anyway, okay, so here we go. Sawtooth wave. That is the filter. And if I'm not mistaken, and I may be, who knows this? I don't know if I know it. I think this is a 12 decibel per octave filter designed off of the Steiner-Parker filter. And I know that it is designed off of the Steiner-Parker filter. I'm still not sure if it's the 12 decibel per octave, but in any case, that's what we're listening to. We're listening to the filter cutoff affecting a sawtooth wave. Let's try that with resonance. As you're listening to that, if you have any experience with Moogs, you're probably saying, okay, that's not a Moog filter. And that's good, because Moog does Moog filters good enough for anyone. We don't want a Moog filter, because if we want a Moog filter, there are Moogs to be had. What Arturia has done is said, okay, yeah, Moog does Moog, and that's fantastic, but we're doing Steiner-Parker. And then you get this sound, which is not a Moog sound, and that's good. You've got a new sound to add to your arsenal, along with your Moog sound. And the resonance can be pushed into self-oscillation, which is pretty good for a 12 decibel per octave filter, if that is indeed what this is, because so many 12 decibel per octave filters did not give the option, at least in vintage synths, for self-oscillation. You know, your Yamaha CS50 or something like that, you did not have that option, but here you do. Much like the Korg MS-20, which you're kind of getting some Korg MS-20 sort of sounds out of this. Yeah, my meters just went crazy. That's a loud sound. There's this weird bubbly effect in there, which is cool. Whose filter sounds like that? That's awesome. Okay, the thing that's going to send me into seizures as far as demonstration is concerned is the fact that this isn't just a low-pass filter. I'm not that lucky. No, Arturia has given you also a band-pass filter. Without resonance. I always think that band passes give you a really frothy, you know how I feel about using this word, but fat sound. And then with resonance, come on. Also, high pass. Okay, let's turn the resonance off before we show you the high pass, so we don't go into seizures. High pass without resonance is kind of boring. Maybe that's me. But then you add the resonance in, and then something really magical happens. Oh, what? Nothing magical happened? Listen to this. What a lot of people don't realize is when you have high resonance on a high pass filter, when you have the filter nearly closed, the resonance boost is happening in the bass range. So you may have the high pass all the way up with your resonance high, But when the cutoff level is down low, you're getting this massive bass boost. So in many ways, well, in every way, the high pass filter is your big bass boost in the filter range. Then if we were, here we are with the Arturia MiniBrute, we'll turn the sub-os on. That's a great bass sound. That's very, very nice. Also, we have notch pass, which is a type of filter that it's taking out a range of frequencies in the middle, just one range, as opposed to the low pass, which is cutting off the high frequencies, or the high pass, which is cutting off the low frequencies, or the band pass, which is letting a pile of frequencies pass. The notch filter is cutting out one region of frequencies, depending on how it's set. But as you can see, this is the great thing about a filter like this, is that you have a vast diversity of sound timbrally because of the different emphases that are going into the different frequency ranges. So low pass filter is obviously king, but when you have a multiple filter like this, you can get a lot of nasal sounds that the low pass doesn't catch. Like that, very nasal. So when we say that the bassoon can't be emulated by synthesis, it can with this kind of filter. Okay. Not that that's a bassoon sound. That could be an oboe sound. Anyway, so we're not done with the filter yet, are we? We still have keyboard tracking, which is the standard keyboard effect. Let's put it on low pass just for fun. Which means that the filter is going to be open further the higher up the keyboard range you go. Pretty standard function on most synthesizers. We also have envelope amount, and Arturia has given you a filter envelope, an ADSR filter envelope, just for the filter, and also for a lot of those awesome oscillator functions. Pretty standard sound. We can apply it to the different filter types. And they've also, well, let's listen to the notch filter just for fun. I'm sorry I'm using such a standard envelope filter shape, traditional, but you know me, I'm a purist. Okay, so they also give you a slow envelope speed. They also give you a slow envelope speed. Which doesn't seem to have the release. So in this way, your filter envelope can be slower, and you could get those slow increases. It's really nice. So you can have a punchy, snappy envelope, or you can have a slow, extended envelope to give you that diversity of sound. And I just got to say, that's a great option to have. They've really given you just a tremendous amount of functionality. The envelope is still happening. So there. Okay, and obviously this whole time we've only been using the sawtooth without the ultrasaw, and not the square wave or the triangle with the metalizer or the sub oscillator or all of that functionality. I mean, come on, put it together. Mathematically, you have so much going on. Oh my, okay. So let's put it on like bandpass filter with a fast envelope. With a little bit of keyboard tracking. And now let's be obnoxious and add ultrasaw. And then change the ultrasaw rate. All right, what synthesizer sounds like that? I mean, if you're going just traditional low pass with standard waveforms, that's not what you're going to get. So this covers a lot of territory. And then let's try the square wave with the pulse width modulation in the envelope. And we haven't even talked about pulse width modulation in the LFO yet, so that's someplace we're going to go. Let's try triangle wave with metalizer. And you hear the filter opening up, which is giving you more of the metalizer sound, but the metalizer also has its envelope. Don't forget about that. Come on. That is a brash, aggressive sound that one would more likely expect from a different synthesizer than this. Something more like a Korg MS-20. Well, no, not that. That is a brash sound that someone would expect from like an MS-20, where you could create a sound like that. And, you know, again, I'm not going to do any comparison here because they're just two different things. But that's not a Moog sound, and that's good. You want this in addition to your Moog sound. Come on. Okay, so yeah, the filter. And while we're talking about the filter, let's dive into the brute factor, because, you know, I don't know what the brute factor is or does, but I know what it sounds like, and it seems to be related to the filter. And listen to this mess. It's some sort of distortion that is vaguely filter related, and it just makes everything crunchy and saturated. That's like the brute factor is crunchiness and saturation. I just brought up the square wave on its own without any fancy crap going on. Let's hear what brute factor. It's doing its own thing. Let's hear what the sawtooth wave does with this. I don't know what the brute factor is, but listen to that. Listen to that crunchy, gritty, saturated sound that you get with it and the filter. Okay, you know me. I deal with a lot of vintage analog synths. That's not something that happens with vintage analog synths. And it's still analog. That's cool. They've really created some interesting things for this synthesizer to be doing. And I think it's more applicable to today's sounds. I mean, you can really, it's kind of industrial, not like industrial is today's sound, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, name a genre that needs a big, gritty, cool thing like this. It's a genre that I want to play. That's all I'm saying.